Hi guys, and good afternoon. It is Sunday the 24th of December 2023, 11 a.m. Asian time. So for you London people out there, it will be very early in the morning. So I had recorded this yesterday, the day before yesterday. And I felt that it was a little bit too long and it wasn't sufficient enough as a market update. So I gave myself 24 hours to consolidate a few points. And here I am reproducing that market review now. This market review will be quicker than, the previous market reviews. And I'll just go over my thought process going into Christmas, going into New Year's, and the strategy into the open. Okay, following from the previous work I've done in the last two videos. So once you finish this, if you need a bit more context, go and watch that. It is my intention here to present what I do see, not what I want to see, and furthermore to, as much as I can, present the information in a clear light so that it may help you make decisions wherever you are in your own personal opinions or portfolio cycle. Okay, let's begin. So we're going to start with BTC, and I'm going to look at BTC on a few different time frames. We're just going to go over the key levels. We're going to make a range for BTC. Then we're going to look at the BTC dominance, then total 3. Then we're going to look at the USDT dominance, and then draw some conclusions from this, with perhaps at the end looking at specific alts that I am looking at to trade as we go into Q1, right? So quick recap. I'm going to put the index on here, right? So I'm going to hide everything for you. Right, so if we've come off the lows here, right, recap, 15,000, moved higher, right, barely had a retracement, basically gone parabolic, right? I would say that this entire movement is parabolic simply because of the lack of retracements that it gives. There are three key levels that we have been looking at based on the last previous videos, and those key levels are: number one, the yearly open, okay? Number two, we have a support level here, which is 30,800, around 30,000. But the key level really around that is the most interacted with level, right? Which is the 32,000 region. So what I've done is I've just created a range to represent that, okay? We have the yearly open at around 46,000. And then we have a pump target of around 56. So let me move that up, and that pump target was derived from this Bitstamp chart. So if you look at the chart that we've used to nail the previous cycles, yeah, we've been over this in the bull market review. If you want to understand what it means, just go back a few videos. We're repeating, we have a trend where the pre-halving gains go from 460, 405, 343. The next in the sequence would be around 270 to 274. Should that be the case, then we'd expect around the 57,000 mark. However, an important point when looking at that, before we continue, is, drumroll, we do not have to, right? We do not have to fulfill that before the new year opens. So here, right, we pumped from the new year all the way up to the 343 target, right? We did that. However, here we were chopping around, and towards the end of the period we were able to rally, right? And the same happened here. This is the only outlier. So what I'm trying to say to you is that with the previous halving events, we've actually got, every time we've rallied into the halving, because look here, we were 3,000 and we rallied straight into the halving. Here we were 462 and we rallied straight into the halving. Here we were August 12 and we rallied straight into the halving, right? And prior to that rally, there's always been a consolidation. So just loosely, I'll show you here. Consolidation 1, consolidation 2, and then you move up. Consolidation 1, and you move up, right? If you look at this, it might not seem like a consolidation to you, But you know, if we're looking at this from the perspective of past patterns, consolidation before the halving, move up. Okay, so in every cycle we've had a consolidation before the halving, slightly before, and then we moved up. What has been the previous date range for that? Well, prior to the movement, so prior to the halving itself, here around 217 days, here around 90, around 101, and here around 119, right? So you could say an average of around 150 days, yeah? But is that useful? Well, not in an isolated manner, but I'm just pointing that out to you. So the usefulness of this, and let's go back to the index chart, is now we have a chart with 3 levels, right? This is how I'm personally basing everything. So we have the pump targets, right, these are the levels. Now from this, yeah, my opinion is that due to, and we'll go over this in a moment, BTC dominance starting to fall while BTC price is increasing locally, that shows a divergence. So money is leaving BTC in this area to go and chase USDT, but it's not USDT, so it's altcoins, right? You would think that, oh, you know, people are moving money into cash. Well, no, they're moving it into alts, which is why Solana is going crazy. So if you saw me what I said previously, that for a local top on BTC, we would need to see falling dominance with euphoria and close to a key level. Well, we're there. Okay, we're there. We're in the danger zone. Should we tap this yearly open at 46,000, I'm going to assume this entire trend is done, right? Could be completely wrong. We could go higher. But every time, all right, so the observation has been that every time we've done that in the past, so if I would go to the inverted for the index chart and stick on a log scale, right? And let's go to the weekly. So yeah, the first tap of every previous yearly open level has led to a retracement, right? It has led to a retracement. First tap, 36%. First tap, 36%. First tap, 71%. I don't think it's right to assume it's different here. Different this time. Number one. Number two, we're very, very euphoric. The market is getting a bit out of hand, right? We have Solana meme coins pumping, and generally the alt market is ripping, which is something we'll get into in a moment. We're sitting right underneath the yearly open, and the key level, which is our support, is around 27 to 30, 32 to 33%, which is close to the average of what is expected. The last observation I have here now, and I'll go through this again momentarily, is this observation. And we made this previously, which is what? Okay, sidestepping being overly anal in how this unfolds. How price moves into the open is often something that's reversed, yeah? So you see price is moving into the open here and it's moving down, we reverse it, okay? Temporarily, and then we continue the context of what came before. Here, so look. I'll zoom in here. So here, we reverse it. So we're pumping into the open, we reverse it, and then continue the context of what came before, right? This has happened over and over and over again. I'm not going to go through each, but you can see it quite clearly. Yeah, you can see it quite clearly. If you look at the weekly, you'll get more info on that. Here we're moving up, here we consolidated, and then we pumped up, right? Here we're moving down, and this was a little bit different, but this was just prior to the open that we started to consolidate, and then we reversed the direction after. So this wasn't 100% accurate, but again, the same thing happened here, right? So what we're really looking at, without being too specific, is that this orange point, right? This orange point often signals a temporary reversal, right? So let's say we're going down, temporary reversal and continuation of the trend, given contextual mediators. Yeah, it's not 100%, but the general principle is there, that we're looking for one move in the opposite direction and then a continuation. Now, why is that relevant? Well, because we're right underneath the yearly open, right? So if I am to stitch those things together, then I fully believe that we're likely to do something like this, right? Into the yearly open, right? So even now, pump into the yearly open, and then so we have early euphoria in January, okay? Early euphoria, and from there reject, and do that reversal of the prior trend, okay? That to be something that wipes out most of euphoric participants. Maybe we get a bit of ranging, and then what happens is for a good few months, yeah, in Q1, we get ranging, followed by, as the halving approaches, we start to pump past the yearly open, right? That is generally how I would stitch together everything I'm seeing. I could be completely wrong, but as you know, right, as you know, my mission was to get you guys in here and follow you through till this level, right? So I am practically shooting in the dark, and I only have price levels and previous fundamentals to use at this point in order to navigate BTC, right? Once the ETF is exposed, we'll be able to know more, but that would align very well with the ETF too. So we could get some kind of rally into the ETF, sell the news, right? Or if it's not approved, then a dump, right? So I reckon this is going to be a sell the news event or a dump. It doesn't matter what happens, positive or negative. I think it's going down. If it's a positive pass for the ETF, there's a lot of speculation that it's going to take time for money to enter into the market, which makes sense. So in which case I would expect a movement down, and for that movement down to be the place that firms start to enter into BTC, which would qualify new liquidity inflows. I said previously to you that I'll be looking for a liquidity door into the market. Well, the ETF is something good, but I will need evidence that money's flowing in from the ETF and that it's passed. Yeah? If so, then that could qualify a signal that we were waiting for to take this out of the idea of a retest and to new all-time highs, which means that many alts are going far higher. Does that make sense? The other alternative is, before the open, which is in around 7 or 8 days, we dump, okay? Which, in my opinion, would be a huge buying opportunity on everything, and I think we would run it back up like that. But that makes less sense to me at this point. However, I'm not the person to present up or down as just in an isolated craft. You have to be prepared, right? And what do I mean by prepared? So before I go and talk about altcoins, I said to you very clearly 3 weeks ago that I'd be taking money off the board slowly so that I have enough capital to buy a very big dip, and that has been the case, okay? I've been slowly taking money off. I have money in holds that are performing very well, but with those high performers, I'm slowly peeling back the size and I have in them. So I have some longs in things like Rose, in Phantom. I have longs in Illuvium. I have longs in quite a few different coins, right? I had a long in C98, which I started to peel back. Stuff like that, right? I've started to peel back slightly. And I'm looking to have exposure to the market so that if it goes parabolic, I have enough, yeah? That's the main thing. It's very simple. This is how I relax at Christmas and how I relax at New Year's. So pay attention to this, yeah? I have enough coins there that if I miss something going parabolic, then fine, yeah? Absolutely fine. However, I've taken off enough profit where I'm not leveraged, yeah? I'm not leveraged, right? I can cover all money that is in spot, yeah? It's, if I'm leveraged on one exchange, I have the same amount of cash on another exchange, right? Or I'm playing 100% via spot, so I'm not using leverage going into Q1, right? And if I do use leverage, I need to be there to babysit it, yeah? And because that's not the case, well, then it doesn't get used. So first thing, again, to repeat to you very, very clearly, the way I'm resting is I'm having portion of holds in case everything goes parabolic, and I'm taking money off the board. It should be very, very simple. And that theme of taking money off the board will go into, right, depending on how good the market is, it will go into mid-January, where I expect some kind of problematic movement in price, right? Is that clear? Okay. Next. Total 3. Right. So with total 3 now, we have an acceleration. We have a parabola starting to emerge on total 3. And there are a lot of people drawing this range here, and it's a range that I agree with. Right? We have a fairly large, right? We have a fairly large gap here to fill. And the inefficiency is here also, right? I just believe we're going to fall straight through it. And that's a significant rise in alt prices. Yeah, said this to you in the last video. I think that's what's going to happen. And I think this is going to happen fairly quickly. I think in the next 2-3 weeks this occurs. If not, again, zoom out. The retest of a key level is your compound opportunity. And I will tell you exactly what I'm looking to compound in just a moment. If you look at this from the monthly chart, well then, you could say, well, we're at resistance now. It might be true, right? But I think that there's more chance that this continues and altcoins outperform in the short term, right? Really depends on how this monthly closes. But if we get a strong monthly close into this area here, then I think continuation is on the board, right? It's just dependent on how the monthly is to close. How I am going to angle this total 3 chart. And you could say to me, hey, like, why are you worried about these intra levels? Why are you not? Because I'm not assuming yet, the alt cycle to new all-time highs. I'm not one of those perma bulls, right? That's just saying, wow, new bull market, everything to new all-time highs. I am very cognizant, guys, that we don't have new liquidity in the market quite yet. And the chance for current participants to cannibalize each other is high, right? We also don't know what's going on behind the scenes, what the market makers are doing on the books, what exchanges are doing, why or how Sol is running. We don't have all the information all the time. But certainly, we do have a dislocated market where capital isn't pumping everything at once, right? That should show you straight away that we're in cannibalism mode, in my opinion, right? Which means the current participants are all looking to eat off of each other. Until that changes and we have more fools entering into the market, I can't assume new all-time high. So I said to you in the previous video that I think alts are going to play catch-up. So if you look at total 3, and you look at BTC, they're basically similar charts. But one is far higher up than the other, right? So BTC has managed to reach around here. Yeah? Does that make sense? Which gives slight confluence to the area we're looking at for resistance. Understand? So it's very simple. And I think Dank posted something similar to this earlier on. But this is your range here. And this is your high. Right, this is the range that we're currently in, and it's exactly what I showed you on the inverted. The quest for me then is to make sure within this area, right, that I'm able to, one, keep hold of stuff that I think is necessary to keep hold of, and number 2, have cash in case we get a severe retest of this breakout area, because we haven't had one on the weekly yet. We haven't had one. Okay? Now, if we look at BTC dominance, everything will be angled in accordance to this. So, if you look at BTC dominance, the next area of support is 51%. Right? You can only TA it with a certain degree of accuracy. It's not like other charts. But that is where I'll be looking for a bounce if we get one. And that will be principally in line with this key level for dominance, right? Which is 4.93%. So I'm going to be using them all to extract profit, right? More and more profit. And the amount of profit I extract is in regards to how close we get to that total 3 area, how BTC is looking, how close we are on the USDT dominance chart, and furthermore, the general euphoria in the market, which to me is already high, right? We're already in a danger territory. You could be saying, well, why can't you just relax? Why can't you be just bullish? I've been very bullish since the lows. I've been very, very bullish. Publicly so, privately so. I don't think the time to stick to the retarded bullishness is correct here. I don't. I think we can move a little bit further on alts though. It makes absolute sense to me. But there's a lot of danger here, and I'm not looking to be 100% accurate, right? I'm looking to be generally accurate so that I can have, again, cash to buy the dip if it occurs. So what dips are we looking at? Well, before I talk about that, I just want to show you the market leaders. However these market leaders are going to dictate how everything else moves. Do you understand? So Link is currently in a distribution range, in my opinion, locally, right? I think that if we look at this on the monthly chart, you know, let's be what's the right word? Let's assume we put in a high here. So let's assume we put in a monthly swing high. You're expecting distribution for Link, something like this. And then if that was to break structure and temporarily retrace, that would signal to many other people in the market that it's time to let go of your bags temporarily, right? So you want to look at these key mediators. So now that I've told you that, of course it will be Ethereum, of course it will be Link. We're going to look at one more chart before we look at a few specific alts that can serve as a good template. So Bitcoin dominance is pretty much slowing and falling here due to Ethereum. And I think we're going to see Ethereum move to this high. As a result, I think we will see this pump 20%. So we're going to see Ethereum make a move to around 2,800 pretty soon. Once that happens, you know, my alerts are going to be flashing. We're going to be around this area, and that is where I have to take all the money off the board and then reassess, right? It's very, very clear. Next, what charts are we looking at? So there are many different charts, that I have. There are many things that I'm moving in and out of, or holding and distributing on. The general idea has not changed, but let's go through some perfect dip buying charts. And I'm not going to be complicated with this, guys, right? I'm going to be using all the capital I have, and the capital that I have made is going to be protected until I get that juicy dip buying opportunity, right? First one is on Rose. Okay, providing that we're able, within this area here, you see this monthly chart, providing the monthly closes well, any severe dip, and severe dip is around 35% for me, right? Or 35 to 25%. Okay, any severe dip from where we're at will be bought up, and I will put in significant amount of money within these plays. If, for example, God willing, we get a very deep dip into a key level like this, and people are not looking at the monthly chart, they're going to panic. However, the ability to make your money back very quickly on that is excellent. They're very high risk to reward opportunities. So what we're looking for, in the event that the market absolutely shits itself, is you see these prior consolidations before we went parabolic. So if you look at this, right, this is a range, yeah? And this range is the pre-run up. The shorts came in here, fall down, and then we went parabolic, right? If we're to get a dip and something like this happens, I'll be looking to bid this general area with the key idea to get something below this pre-consolidation low. And you'll be able to spot it in the books. So this is a very important point I want to make to you. And guys, this is how you make money, yeah? This is how you make money in the easiest way, so please pay attention. Once these dips come, it's very difficult for people to hide support. That you can't hide it. You might not be able to see it within the chart, but you just take a look at the order books. And during panic, if the market is to bounce, you will see outsized limit orders within those areas. Yeah, outsized. Simply go into the Binance book, margin, spot, futures, and just look. Yeah, you just look, you'll see it. So in the event of a dip, there are two or three things we're looking for. One, divergence at a key monthly level. 2, movement into a key monthly level. 3, limit orders in the books. This is all in the asymmetric part of our tier 7 course 2, right? You want to, if you haven't studied asymmetry, fine, but I want you to do that. If you haven't studied the course, fine, but you need to go and study key levels and asymmetry ASAP if you haven't done that, because those are going to be the most effective things that are going to help you execute within a parabolic pullback. Yeah, go and again look at the 2 lessons or 3 lessons I have within the analysis section. Again, hunting for asymmetry and support, resistance secrets, and key levels. I think the last 2 may be in one lesson, I can't remember. Right, that is the general thesis. Same thing with alluvium, right? Same thing with alluvium. Let's say we get a deeper pullback here. I'm going to be adding significantly. Right? Significantly. Those are 2, and then we're looking at, for example, RNDR. Right? Same thing with render. If we get a pullback, you can see I'm already planning something here. If we get a strong pullback, dependent on the general cross correlation between the market, I'll execute at a key level. If I execute deep into the key level or higher up, just a little bit above it, will depend on how the BTC chart is looking compared to the BTC USDT chart, right? Very important cross correlation. This is, again, how you make money. It's not financial advice, but this is how I make money, let's say. There are other charts that I'll be looking at to play, absolutely, such as FET, right? So again, resistance zone for FET. If we manage to move back down, I'll be executing. And you have charts such as Inch. So we're going to be looking at the top performers. This has just gone absolutely in sicko mode, right? This is 50x up since the lows. This is not something that I longed. And this, however, is showing that we're in a full-blown parabola right now. Yeah, you got to be careful. Okay, this could go way higher, way higher. But generally, with these kind of moves, you want to be applied down here. So what am I not doing? Well, there are bags that I'm not selling. Yeah, and there are bags that are just being shut away because the charts are too good to ignore. They do say ride your winners, but sometimes they also say rotate properly. Yeah, and for me, we have charts like this. Might be an absolute shitcoin, but nonetheless, yeah, charts are chart, speculators are speculators. We have charts that have been ranging for a significant period of time that haven't caught the rotation money. For those, the risk to reward is still so high on them that I simply don't move them. Yeah, there are spot bags that have like beta, like ghost, stuff like that. I don't touch it. Not interested. Yeah, not interested. I'm looking for a risk to reward, and if I wouldn't short, I don't sell. If I would short, then I sell. So when something hits a key level, like FET USDT, right? This can cycle way higher than it is now. Don't get me wrong. But for FET, right? For FET, I took some money off the board at this monthly area. Just smart for me, because I wouldn't long into this area, right? So sometimes you have to figure out, would you long or would you short? And if you wouldn't, for the life of you, long, sometimes it's may be smart to take something off the board. There's probably another dumb motherfucker longing this because it's a bull market and things get reflexive. And sometimes logic isn't your best friend. But something I want to share with you is logic is your best friend long term, not short term. Remember that. It's your best friend long term, not short term. Meaning that short term, it can be very good to be irrational. Yeah, but if that's a trait that you're unable to pick up momentarily and then drop, but if it's a trait that starts to seep into your general, habitual nature, then it's not even useful. Meaning that some of you may underperform, yeah, your stupider peers by being more frugal, right? But the frugality is not something that often leaves you. So it will protect you in times of drawdown too. And we're playing a game of long money acquisition. We're not trying to, well, perhaps we are trying to get money quickly, but we're trying to keep it. I'm trying to keep it. In order to do that, you need, in my opinion, to have cash on the side at all times and be smart with your levels. That doesn't mean, however, not waiting for a pump to materialize. In the idea of Rose, for example, yeah, this would be stupid to sell right now. You could say, oh, we're above a previous high. This is not smart because the chart is moving up so aggressively and you have a big gap. right? So there are things that, okay, make sense to de-risk on. There are other things that do not make sense to de-risk on, which lends to the nature of the dislocated market at the moment. Certain things are running, certain things are not running. Does that make absolute sense? So those are a few charts that I wanted to share with you that stand as a good working model. Simplicity. We're looking to completely drown out the noise, and I'm looking to multiply my capital on key plays. Yeah, you can't catch everything. Maybe you can play this, play that, fine, but with large amounts of money, you have to apply them on bets that make absolute sense. A few other notable mentions here. We have BNB that I think a lot of people are sleeping on right now. All the FUD is cleared up for BNB. I think in the midterm, this is going to make an accelerated move down to the 400 marker. I could be completely wrong, but yeah, I think it's going to start moving with ETH and with majors when that happens. I'm not going to look at the BTC chart because it's going to confuse you, but what I will say is that the market makers at Binance know how to flush out all the shorts on BTC pairs. I'm still in Doge and I'm still in Shiba Inu. That hasn't changed. If that does, I will let you know. And a few other notable mentions on a play that I'm looking at, or a few plays I'm looking at to multiply capital. One, which is shrapnel, right? So what it looks to me that has happened here on shrapnel is that we're either putting in the first cycle high, or we're retracing the first cycle. I think we're about to put in the first cycle high. I don't think it's happened yet. Plan for shrapnel is to follow this down in consolidation, right? And I want to see that consolidation flipped right there. And I'll go in very, very hard on the flip towards a new high. Okay? Understand? If not, then fine. I'll leave that. There are other, coins within the gaming coin stuff that I'm looking at. But the last notable mention for me is Prime, right? So this is one of the strongest gaming coins out right now, but I think it's topped. I want to be looking for an entry in Prime at the $4 level. Seems a bit stupid now, but it's around a 50% haircut from where we're at. If I can get that, I'll be loading up extremely heavily, because I think that will move to around $20 next year. All right. What I'll be doing to conclude this video now is informing you that I don't have a game plan. Once altcoins reach their targets, yeah, so let's say we pump another 3x on most altcoins, I have no other game plan. The game plan was sitting patient here, allocating here, compounding here, taking profit here. Therefore, I will have to spend significant time at the New Year's to meditate and go over a new plan for the next few years, because my general thesis is that we top by mid-2024, and I'm not kidding. I'm using pre-sales as a hedge against any problems within my thesis. But unless a door to liquidity opens, I don't think we're going into 2025. I want to remind you that the echo chamber is, I'm quitting crypto at 2025. I'm quitting. I'm taking all my money with everyone else in the same order books. Like, come on. Who's going to be left holding the bag? That's what you got to ask at all times. And because of that, I don't have any other thesis than taking these alts up for a retest right now. Yeah, I think it's very difficult to say that because we're in a euphoric climate, but I have to honor my own planning. Once I have a stronger map for 2024, it will be released in the next bull market review, which I believe will be the last bull market review that we'll do for a very, very long time. Okay, so that has been said now. I just want to wish you all a beautiful Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I will be away from the around the 31st to around the 6th. Yeah, and generally it's going to be hard to contact me the next few days, but from the New Year's I'll be on a meditation retreat in the mountains, so I won't be back until the second week of January. All right, I hope that was helpful to you. Did my best to be of assistance. If you have any questions, just ask me in the chat. Thank you, and God